Hey everybody, how's it going? Today I want to do something different again. I want to take you all the way back to 2011. Some of you probably weren't even born, or you looked a lot younger. 2011 was a bit of a turning point in terms of me doing home recording, because up until then I thought everything I did kind of sounded like really bad. And that year I decided to try and get good at it. I wasn't trying to be professional, not that. I just wanted my demos, my ideas that I recorded to sound decent, to sound like a finished track. So I asked my brother, who was a live sound engineer at the time, how do you get recordings to sound really big? How do you get that, finished professional sound? And he's like, well, you do metal, so record two guitars, pan one of them hard right, and pan the other one hard left, and you'll get that big sound. So I thought, oh, okay, well, I'll give it a go. He knows what he's talking about. The big thing with this was I discovered, I didn't know, I had a Mac for a couple of years. I bought a 2009 MacBook, one of the white ones, back when Macs were affordable. And it came with GarageBand. And I was asking people at the time, how do you program drums? And I ended up going into the actual Apple shop, my local Apple shop, and being like, dude, how do you program drums and stuff? And he said, oh yeah, just double click on the MIDI and you can edit it. I was like, well, what? You can edit the MIDI? So you can make any kind of drum beat? Amazing. Within GarageBand, you don't have to get Logic or Cubase or anything. Amazing. So I went home and just what you're going to hear is what I came up with. It's on a 2009 MacBook. I'm not using an interface. I am using for the guitars, it's a Pocket Pod Express. Not the Pocket Pod, the Pocket Pod Express, which is the even more simplified version of the pod. And I'm on the metal setting, which I think was a Mesa Boogie rectifier emulation, or the metal setting, all the way up, as much gaining as I could get. I'm going straight into that, not using any of the effects on it or anything, just the amp modeling. And I'm using my Cork KX1Q with a stock EMG HZ pickup. It was a cool Alnico thing, sounded good at the time. Straight into GarageBand, using GarageBand plugins. Can't remember exactly what they were. I'll probably get into that. The bass is actually the same bass that I've been using in the entire time. So in 2011, I went halves with my brother on a Squier Jaguar bass, and it's excellent. It's just an excellent sounding bass, dead punchy, dead aggressive, has a good tong to it, really good tongy sound to it. It's 15 years old. It's on pretty much everything I've recorded. I think this song is in drop B, as far as I know, as far as I can remember. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, that's what I used. I plugged that, straight into the Pocket Pod. I used the rock setting or the crunch setting, blues, whatever it was, and it sounds good. It sounds kind of slightly driven, a little bit of compression going on, I think, but it has a good present sound to it. Again, at this point, I don't know anything about, guitar and bass VSTs. There were a couple out at this time, like Amplitude and things like that. Didn't know anything about them. So I was just using a modeler straight into the mic input on the Mac. Very low latency. Hats off to Apple for figuring that out. And the drums are the built-in rock drums from GarageBand at the time. So they don't sound great. Very robotic. I remember them being very robotic. A lot of the effects on GarageBand, the delays, the verbs, the compressor was okay. All that stuff was pretty good. They had a graphic EQ. It was a bit limited, but it sounded okay. At this point, I didn't really know what to do with EQ. There were a lot of preset settings, like rock setting and classical setting and stadium rock setting. I remember you using that for some stuff. And I don't really know what it was doing, but yeah, it's definitely interesting. So yeah, let's dive in to the first track I ever did programming drums by myself, and the first track ever tracking two guitars and panning them. Let's go. Hey everybody, we have crap camera audio and we are in the DAW. I have Boomer loaded up. This is from 2011 and it is my first attempt by myself programming drums. Let's go. Wow, yeah. Yeah, I remember it like it was yesterday. Like how cheesy that sounds, but it's so true. Like, yeah, the riffs, I think I had most of these riffs, like at least 50, 60% of the riffs I had in my head and I wanted to get them on. But yeah, it sounds pretty good. Like, but the drums, the mixing, and the actual sounds, yeah, they're not great. I'm pretty sure it was the rock kit from GarageBand, the 2009 version of GarageBand, or the 2011 version of GarageBand, whatever that was at the time. Yeah, mixed a little bit. They're way too bright. You know, there's no individual mixing going on the individual shells or anything. It's just the drum track, and I've made it brighter. I think I've got some reverb on there as far as I can hear. The cymbals are just way too loud, way too bright. The guitars sound pretty good. At this point, I don't know anything about boosting with a tube screamer or like having a clean boost or some sort of EQ shaping before you hit the amplifier or hit the amp sim. Yeah, and like I said, it is the metal setting, the full metal setting on the Pocket Pod Express. And there's no EQ controls on there. I don't think I did much EQing on the track. If I did, there's not much going on. And I'm pretty sure, though, I did use a compressor, like an electric guitar compressor or something, setting on the built-in all-stock plugins on GarageBand. Let's carry on. Yeah, listening to that like brings back a couple of memories. Yeah, I wanted to do something like melodic in the middle, it seems like, and yeah, sounded pretty cool. The bass actually sounds like pretty decent. I remember the bass was going through the Pocket Pod Express, like straight into the Mac, just through the mic connection on the old Macs, 2009 white MacBook, you know, sort of no frills MacBook at the time. And yeah, there was like hardly any latency, which was like pretty remarkable, really. And yeah, you could track, and there was obviously a little bit of latency, but it was still doable. And yeah, the bass guitar actually sounds pretty good. You can hear it. You know, I think the levels are decent. The guitars, yeah, they're kind of raw sounding, but yeah, I kind of like it. The drums just sound robotic as hell, like any fill. Actually, the whole thing just sounds robotic, really. I mean, they're probably just one shot on snares and kicks and toms and stuff, and the cymbals. Yeah, I just go kind of like full modern sort of death metal there, trying to do every genre I liked at the time in one track. Because I remember being pretty giddy about this, about recording like this. I was like, oh my god, like if I pan one guitar here and one guitar here, left and right, it sounds huge. That's the sound I've been after. That's the sound of big guitars, one in each speaker, basically. And yeah, the bass is pounding, sounds good. The drums sound pretty crap. The mix is pretty loud. I don't think I've got anything going on the master track. Probably some like preset thing that they had. They had like all these different settings, like classical, stadium rock, jazz, or whatever, as these like compression settings, I guess, or finishing settings. I can't remember what it was on old GarageBand, but it was quite interesting. Their stock plugins were very like super easy to use, and they were like pictures of things, and it was cool. Where was I? Let's go. So that's it, guys. That is my first attempt at programming drums and doing a mix that sounds half decent. And looking back, it does sound okay. I think with a few tweaks, with some like basic mixing that I would do today, using a completely different drum VST for sure, it would sound all right. I think it would sound okay. Like the basic bass sound is decent. The basic guitar sound is okay. And you could get it sounding half decent just with some like different drums and like properly mastered, because this mix, I mean, look at it, it's fairly loud. I mean, look at that. But I could definitely push it a bit further with the techniques I use today. So yeah, it was fun doing it. Doesn't sound great, but it doesn't sound bad. And I like to think I got better over the years. And now, how many years later is it? Like 15 years later? Yeah, I like to think I sound better. But it's always good to like check in and listen to these things. I've not heard this thing in years, like a lot of years. So yeah, that was fun. Great to listen to where I was at musically like 15 years ago.